December 1st, 2023. Oh my God, the year is almost over. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast talking about SmackDown tonight. Matt Koon joining me. Matt, we've known each other for years. This is our first time podcasting together here on Wrestling Inc.
It's awesome to be here. And I know, in case you miss Issa's beautiful face, you have mine instead. And it's just the two of us. We're going to have some fun. Like we said, we've known each other. We've done business together.
Yeah.
We met each other at StarCast 1. I don't know if you remember meeting at the doorway of that hotel lobby or that big convention room. You were loading in a bunch of stuff for a sponsor. And we've talked since then. But now we're going to talk about SmackDown.
This will be good. We're going to try and keep it as on topic as possible. Before we get into it, though, there's a little bit of news to cover. Let's see. First, Roman Reigns. Who's he going to face at the Rumble? Well, if you watch SmackDown tonight, it gets pretty clear Randy Orton is going to have a hell of a storyline with the Bloodline, but lose to Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, as long as it's not an arm wrestling match. Randy is gigantic right now. I've never seen him this big. It's a fine match for the Rumble. We'll talk a little bit more about Randy, but this is not Randy's wheelhouse really as far as what makes him Randy. It's not like he's been this baby faces that who has been. It's not like that part of his career has been responsible for his success. It wears out pretty quickly. It's always like the big welcome back, and then it gets a little tired, and then right away he turns into the Viper, and that's where he belongs.
Yeah. It'll be good. And look, he's going to definitely dominate and kick the crap out of every other member of the Bloodline, probably even Paul Heyman. But
it's always fun. Always fun.
Yeah, it'll be good. That was a good, fun end segment tonight. But I think this is good for Roman. It gives him something to do when he decides to grace us with his presence once again.
Also, adds much needed, I'm sorry, but in a lot of eyes, credibility to Roman Reigns' reign, right? Is that beating a guy like Randy Orton, it's another tippy top guy that he's beaten. And when you look back at his reign, it's a lot of guys who were top for a second, but not a lot of legacy stars like that. Of course there's Brock, but besides that, Randy Orton is a good name to put on your victim wall.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it'll be good. It won't hurt Randy at all. I mean, Randy's lost to lesser opponents over
he'll just RKO the ref and everybody will forget all about it. It'll be fun.
It's true. Man, people love the RKO. That's like the free bird of professional wrestling. People just start chanting for it. They want it. As long as they get to see it, they go home happy.
I love the RKO. I think, and I would like anybody who yells free bird at a gig I'm playing to die. But the RKO is great. Like, it doesn't wear out. Like, I've been watching for 20 years. And I'm tired of everything. I hate everything, and especially Leonard Skinner now, but yes. I hate everything, but I still like the RKO, and I bet Randy could probably sing better than Ronnie Van Zant's brother too.
Well, Matt, given they used to play gigs, this is the thing where I feel old now. I'm like, wait, do people still yell Freebird to be funny at every concert?
Always. Anytime there's a chance that someone can do so with anonymity, it's going to happen.
See, the kids these days, they don't even know. They don't even know what it is. They don't understand. Mercedes Mone, done in Japan? ?
That's the rumor.
Going? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were finished with your sentence.
Oh,
that
no.
was a good pause for effect.
Yes.
Were you done talking? Is it my turn?
Yeah. Go for it,
cool.
Dude.
So, I have no idea. No one does. She really is good at keeping a lid on her, her activities and there's not a lot of leaks out of her camp, she doesn't do podcasts. She doesn't do a lot of interviews. She knows the interest in her is a commodity and she uses it. She knows she's going to do a podcast one day or have a book or make use of her IP. That is her story. So we don't really know, but I think maybe we saw a clue tonight, Bailey, looks like she's on the outs with a group that seems weird. Like, why would it have 4 members, right? Like, why would Damage Control have 4? It's always had 3, right? And it seems like just kind of some people thrown together, but also like some people that could make a nice, fun match for the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
So you add Bailey turning, and then you had Bianca maybe getting maybe getting the title at some point as a consequence of the horsewomen thing. and then or consequence of the Bailey thing, and then you have that 4-on-4 at Mania, horsewomen versus Damage Control. I would love it, and I think maybe that's what's going to happen.
Maybe. I mean, it was interesting, Issa at the press conference after Survivor Series asked Becky and Charlotte about them tagging again. And I could also see Mercedes as Sasha Banks coming back to team with Bailey to take on Becky and Charlotte for the tag team championships. That sounds like a good WrestleMania co-main event.
And the buildup could be amazing. Can you imagine? Like, first of all, Mercedes coming up, maybe a week before WrestleMania or whatever, but the Bailey turn where she gets the fans back, that's going to be huge because fans never really hated Bailey. We respected what she was doing, and we wanted to root for her doing the role she's doing, but no one ever stopped liking Bailey.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting, but man, what a power move for two reasons. If Mercedes goes back and reclaims the mantle, the name Sasha Banks in WWE, because it will just really show that one, it's a complete new guard in charge there. If she doesn't have issues with Triple H, Nick Khan, and the new people running things at TKO, but then also, I mean, Matt, you and I travel in a lot of the same circles. We've heard the rumblings. We've had people that swore to us Mercedes and AEW was as close to a done deal as a done deal. It would be amazing if WWE is about to undo that and swing her back to WWE at this late stage.
Yeah, there's, you have the new garden, and the, the proof of that is CM Punk being back, right? Really, It didn't seem like it was that hard. Seems like they had a week of meetings and they agreed on money and there was no problem and none of the old issues. With Mercedes, how great a story is it that she went out, she got to do what she wanted to do, and then she came back with more leverage.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. As far as AEW, I want to do some pure irresponsible conjecture right now.
Please.
Maybe it didn't help. Maybe she saw the CM Punk situation and decided maybe AEW wasn't for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a big star, or she saw Cody. She saw the way Cody, not just, with Cody, not just how he left, but how he's presented when he got there. And maybe she said, man, this is maybe not a place for a big star. I'm just wondering, and I'm an AEW fan, but you have to wonder that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. I think still with AEW, my biggest disappointment in the company is I still feel like the ratio of women's wrestling and the way that they feature women's wrestling does not compare to, I'm going to say, WWE in general, but I really mean NXT leading the way first and foremost, and then the other programs do an okay job. But I think that there's really one slot in AEW for a women's wrestler to have a huge presence in the company. And I think Mercedes could garner that, but that's got to be tough for camaraderie.
And it could also be, let's say she's not in AEW, because maybe she is. We never know.
Yeah.
But maybe it's, the fact that she would like a better women's division to wrestle with, like you were saying, like maybe, it's not the CM Punk thing, or it's nothing, but she just sees the writing on the wall, because when you look at AEW, previously they had two almost stopwatched kind of segments for women's wrestling in matches, even for every Dynamite, and now we're down to one. I don't think it's crazy to say that whoever makes decisions about what matches go on AEW TV or not is not crazy about / or does not believe in the ratings effectiveness of women's matches.
Yeah, with 3 shows across 4 hours of wrestling a week.
They do a couple more on Collision and Rampage than they do on Dynamite, though.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but we'll see what happens. Also, was it Meltzer that reported? I saw this on Twitter, browsing Twitter before we went to air. In fact, I saw O'Shea Jackson Jr. Tweeted this, that why didn't CM Punk throw some shots at AEW? Well, it's reports are coming out now that he signed an NDA on his way out, which makes sense, probably given the money and the separation agreement involved.
And my guess is, as I think I tweeted 4 days ago, Tony Khan was asked about CM Punk. He said, I can't talk about it. I would guess it's a two-way NDA. I would guess like there's no statements from either side about either side. And by the way, excuse me, fine, right? Like, like we don't need more, unless like someone like me was hoping to do a podcast with Punk one day, whatever. But sorry, he's like, that'd be the worst episode ever. I'd take the fifth. But like, he's like, sorry. But
I'm just imagining.
And then we throw the blue chew right away. We throw the blue chew.
Yeah.
If you have trouble getting stories out of somebody,
no, it would be like Luther Campbell back in his 2 Live Crew days would do like the I ain't bullshitting track, and he was so afraid of getting sued, so he'd be, now I want to talk about some things you find on your table like salt and pepper, or I want to talk about some kids who play really bad coded language to try and like throw shade. That's what I want to see CM Punk resort to doing.
And I think a lot has been made of the promo, and now I think we can understand why if there's an NDA. But also, like, it's worth mentioning, the point of a promo, I think, I'm not a wrestler, is to make money, is to draw money. At this point in time, what better promo could CM Punk do to draw money than the promo he did on Monday night? Like, if he calls out, let's say there's no NDA, he calls out AEW, calls out the Bucks, that ain't making anybody any more money. It's immediately attaching himself to WWE canon and just said, okay, I'm the best that is here. I left. People think they're the best, but now it's me. Who wants some? I don't give a crap. I'm the king of this hill now. That is the promo that you want a big star coming in to make, and the one that will down the road make the most money and build the most interest, because it plays in the interest about Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, no one will ever verify this because no one has any fondness to go back and watch this, but I hope there is an editing team that has furiously been erasing from history that entire Shane McMahon best in the world angle.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. He was crowned in Saudi Arabia.
Yes,
right?
The best in the world.
Saudi Arabian best in the world. We probably should get to SmackDown. Me and you are not good at staying on topic.
I know.
But thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, good crowd tonight. Good to see you all. SmackDown tonight from Brooklyn, the Barclays Center, home with the best NXT takeover of all time, perhaps. Still my favorite.
I was there.
Oh, so good.
I was there for all three of those. They were great shows.
Absolutely. We opened tonight with Bianca Belair calling out, Sky, putting her on notice, saying she wants her women's championship back. And then, of course, she was interrupted. The music hit. Now came Asuka, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai. And it was interesting to see their back and forth. And then Bianca joined by Charlotte Flair and Shotzi. What do you think about how they're grouping it now and present? I mean, this is something SmackDown has done, going back to, we were talking off the air, going back to the brand split in 2016. They love to find a way to feature, what they view as the important women in the roster, as many of them as possible, in one segment.
And it seems so much, not to just beat on AEW, because I'm rooting for you guys, but like, it seems so much more natural and more organic. I guess that's the same thing. It's a better story than what AEW would do with the same thing, right? A lot of times we see these four guys and these four guys, and it's just like, this just all makes sense to me. Everything makes sense. You got Bianca's there, and then Charlotte called Becky, and, Shotzi is getting elevated. Everything's working out really, really well. Makes a lot of sense. I have two thoughts about this. Number one, I hope WWE, I believe they will, with the new realm, with the new people in charge, realize that Bianca is it. Like, Bianca is your breakout star. Bianca's the one you want on the Today Show. Bianca is the one with the youth and just appeals to every person who watches. And the second thing is, again, the four horsewomen theory. I'll give you another clue. Since when is Charlotte Flair okay with playing like a kind of a, I'm along with the gang, I'm kind of your second backup? Like, since when is Charlotte okay with that kind of role? That's not something she's ever done. Like, just being like one of the gang, because she likes to define herself as the queen. And I mean, why else would you do that unless there's a bigger cause coming up down the road?
Well, I would say that this year, especially in recent months, and I didn't think it could get any higher, but my respect for both Becky and Charlotte has gotten so high that they've been willing to play these support roles. Becky willing to go to NXT, Charlotte willing to be a support act for Bianca, because I think that with Charlotte and Becky both, there's really not much for them left to do in WWE. I mean, I think the tag belts are probably it. But Charlotte only has so many championship wins left. I think they're going to have her tie her father or maybe surpass him by one, but she's looking at how much longer she intends to wrestle. And I think this is her diversifying her repertoire and what she's doing and being in a different role, because when she comes back normally, given how many times she's had that title on Raw or SmackDown, I'm kind of like, oh man, we've seen this before. Charlotte's going to come back, go immediately into the championship picture, win the belt, and then she's going to dominate the women's division, or at least dominate the storytelling in the women's division. So I think it's very refreshing to see her changing it up a little bit for the time being.
And true, all that true, but at the same time, she always likes to present herself a certain way,
Yeah.
and she should, because she's Charlotte. And it's going to be, when you look at Charlotte, Becky, and Mercedes, to get to be as successful as they are, if you were to corner each of them and say, hey, who's the best out of you? Who's the biggest star out of all of you? They would all say themselves, So
Yeah.
and you have to be like that. But I guess my point is that I think she's going along with the program and being part of this angle because she's a big star, because there's bigger things down the road, not just for this thing. Like, she's not Bianca's backup against Damage Control. That's not the story.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. I think it'll be interesting. Of course, everyone began brawling because there's only so much time for words in WWE before the fist fly. Everyone except Dakota Kai.
It's a 2-hour show, man. 2-hour show. You gotta do
it. Everyone except Dakota Kai, where it's kind of weird that she's in bubble wrap. I mean, I know she's not medically cleared, but in kayfabe, it's a little weird that they're treating her like Mr. Glass and like, no, we can't. We must protect her at all costs.
She got out of that ring quick.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. It was weird, but I'm okay with it. Let's just get better.
Well, I'm telling you, I've been saying this because I want to wish it into fruition. They have to not tell us when she's cleared. It has to be a surprise that she just immediately gets in on things,
Yeah.
But because we won't see that coming. But the baby faces stood tall at the end of this segment, Bianca and her crew. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Shotzi hugely elevated by this.
And holding her own and showing she is up to the task. It's one thing to put someone in that position. Another thing, if you're like Bart Gunn, and you can't really hang, what I'm saying? Like, Bart Gunn's not fair. Someone who's been put in that position that really can't hold up that end.
Yeah. Butch Solo against Bobby Lashley. People pointed out tonight that Bobby Lashley is 47 years old and looks like he's in his prime. I am 47 years old as well, and I feel like a walking sack of potatoes. So, Bobby, I'm very jealous of your physique and the good life decisions you've made.
It doesn't get better, by the way. Like, after 47, it's not like 51 is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man, I'm calling my doctor Monday. Get me on that Ozempic. Get me on that, and then I'll get a gym membership. Yeah, we're gonna just mainline that.
This Pete Dunne thing. First of all, it looks like they're creating a character here, and it looks like maybe he might go back to Pete Dunne. That seems like Corey said that line twice. You're done, son. But maybe this is set. Lashley is this. Ace in the hole that they can use whenever they want. Sometimes we forget he exists. Like, and we're like, oh yeah, he's been protected. He's credible. He could face Brock, but maybe this is heading towards a Bobby Lashley, Sheamus situation.
That could be interesting. I thought you looked great tonight. You looked dominant, but yeah, I would love to see Butch just break and go back to Pete Dunne.
Yeah. Bobby Lashley does look ridiculous. Like
so good.
I just wish he would just like go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to the gym, try vegetable, get it together, Bobby Lashley. You look like hell.
Dylan Matthews looks like Butch might be done. Yes, that's got to be the promo. That's got to
Yeah.
be his last promo as Butch. He
Yeah.
has to say Butch is done and then walk away.
It's perfect. Pete Dunne's great, by the way. Like, I've seen Pete Dunne wrestle a million times in person or on TV. He's great, but it seems like even me as an audience member who wants to root for him, I just can't see him in that way as Butch. So
I
a
know.
name does define you in a lot of ways in WWE.
I know. He's got to disappear and then he's got to come back as a surprise, like Olivia Newton-John at the end of Grease. But instead of black leather, he's wearing the fuzzy bath mat again and doing the old shtick. It'll be beautiful.
I'm for it. 100%.
He's so good. But Bobby Lashley, I mean, it was a good match, but Bobby Lashley won. Bobby Lashley just dominant, doing great. And it's interesting, speaking of support, seeing how the Street Profits kind of like being his team now.
Yeah, I don't think they found their niche in that role, and I don't even think WWE knows what that role is. Like,
I know.
I'm not sure they know what they're supposed to be like portraying. Are they're not they're bad guys, I guess. They're kind of badasses, but whatever it is, it's fine because the Street Profits are being elevated as human beings, as characters, as opposed to just wrestlers. And as far as wrestling goes, you know, I said this last year when or earlier this year when Montez Ford was in the Elimination Chamber, and you know, I was saying, you know, Dawkins is kind of the dude, and I've said that for a long time now. Nobody's listening to me, but Dawkins keeps getting trimmer, keeps getting better in the ring. As far as what I, as a fan, can tell, I've watched him wrestle for a decade probably, if you include NXT.
Oh yeah,
and it's just between the two of them, you got two huge future single stars. But don't sleep on Dawkins because I think Dawkins does a better job at connecting with the audience, and Montez is more like, you know, a big show. Meaning a good show, not like it's a show, but meaning he puts on a show.
Yes. Dawkins has that curse of greatness still.
He does. He's still mixing the pot, you know. Like he used to do.
I love when you come out when he had the chalk on his hands that would clap it and make the dust cloud. Oh,
I think I saw him back in the day when NXT wasn't popular, except with me and my son. I saw him at Access Wrestling, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is ever going to happen for this guy, you know, because like there's like 20 people there, you know, and just who decided not to stand in line to see Alpha, you know, and just watching poor, you know, Dawkins get beat by probably, you know, one of the vaudevillains or something, you know.
Oh yeah. Two headbands because he sweats that much.
He has improved so much. He is so good. Like I said, it's about the connection with the crowds. Look who connects with the camera. Like, look who connects to the audience. You know, Dawkins is really good at that. And I've been saying it so that when it happens, I'm going to be just gloried in my rightness.
No, I think you know, they're getting TV time since they've been on the main roster. They've always had something going on. It's interesting though, but I think with Bobby, could be interesting with Bobby because I think they could be giving him a build. But I do think what I would like to see is that after Bobby goes through the cycle, and man, I would love to see like a Brock or some big payoff match at the end of this. But then I would love it if they would then have him support the Street Profits more and change that up because it feels like it hasn't been quite balanced as of late.
I think Lashley could hold his own credibility wise against any single name that WWE put against him in any moment. You know, like you wouldn't go, oh, like if it was Austin, you'd be like, oh, okay, or if it was Logan Paul or whoever, you know. Lashley has that credibility, and like I said, he's been protected, meaning, you know, he hasn't lost a lot. He's been presented as a big star, you know. I still think I don't think we ever got to Lashley and Brock, right? So that would be cool.
I mean, Lashley and Gunther could be a really good.
That would be great.
Yeah, it could be good. You know, this was good tonight, and yeah, but man, Butch needs a little bit of a reboot, I think, at this point because it hasn't been great for the Brawling Brutes.
Like being dressed like an extra from Little Orphan Annie probably wasn't the move.
I was gonna say Newsies. I was at least gonna give him a little more of an obscure musical. You know,
just some form of ragamuffin. It's just someone. You know what happened is in that era. I don't know if it's Bruce or whoever. You know. Yeah. Like just fell in love with suspenders. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to give everybody suspenders. We're going to give Riddick Moss. Hey, dude, this guy, runs a 100-yard dash quicker than anybody in WWE. Put suspenders on him, pal. And then you had all the brutes had suspenders, and they weren't the only ones. Somebody really, really liked suspenders in 2020 WWE.
Does Bruce wear suspenders?
Brother Love did, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I was saying,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like something Hunter would do, is what I'm saying. It seems like Vince is like, suspenders. All the dangerous kids in my neighborhood wore suspenders.
Beat up by kids.
That's what he sees as a bully. Butch is literally the kid that grew up with Vince beating him up, taking his lunch money.
Yeah. So Paul Heyman was talking to Nick Aldis tonight because Randy Orton was going to announce which brand he's going to. Man, in the year 2023, did you ever think we would see Paul Heyman on TV this much and this regularly?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That guy, dude, he figured it out. Like, it took him like 40 years, maybe more than that, right? Of doing everything in the wrestling business to figure out what he could do the most successfully for the longest amount of time, for the most amount of money. And it is this. I'm not saying he was bad at any of the other things he did. He obviously was always a natural on the mic, Maybe not the best business mind in the world, Maybe not the best guy to work as part of a writing team, right? Maybe not. But, dude, like, I was telling my kids, right, about bass playing. And I go, a bass player usually should be invisible for a good song. But a great bass player makes the band better. Right? It makes the band better. John Paul Jones makes Led Zeppelin better because he's such a great bass player. Paul Heyman makes people better. He's the Magic Johnson of the or John Paul Jones of the WWE. He is fantastic at his job. I don't need to say that. Everybody says that. It's true.
Yeah. I mean, he's been holding it down, man. I don't know. I hope Roman's okay. I hope Roman's on a beach somewhere enjoying his time, but it is remarkable how Roman is the Universal Champion, the biggest star on SmackDown, and every week we get his consigliere on TV without him, And I think it's been good for Solo, but I think Roman's got to make an appearance soon.
Yeah, we get used to it. Brock conditioned us for this.
Yeah.
When Brock did it, we were really surprised. We're like, bro, the champion is not even like there. Oh my God, And now Roman goes away a lot, but Paul's there in his stead, and he's talking about him like he's a thing. He might as well be there. And also, it might not, I like the idea of the champion being there, but you can't get sick of somebody if you never say goodbye. And so one of, one of the people in, wrestlers being on the screen 365 days a year, as opposed to disappearing for a few months at a time, is probably not the best thing for overness,
Yeah. It's been an experiment, but still going. Backstage, we saw Butch get into it with Pretty Deadly, and Pretty Deadly beat up Butch.
Well, Sheamus, maybe, I don't know, or Butch. Maybe this is the way Butch will come into Pete Dunne-ness, is by overcoming this probably easily disposable Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, they're getting TV time. It's interesting to see. Similar to like Alpha Academy on Raw and now NXT, it's interesting to see how they're using characters that, can wrestle a match, obviously, but that just are a little more flamboyantly entertaining.
See, here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you come from NXT, if you come up with the gimmick, it's no good. You got to come up, and then they change the gimmick. Then they make you who you are. So when you've got Pretty Deadly, Sanity, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's an NXT developmental gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're doing it just like they're training the people to work on the cameras. And then it gets over in the NXT world, which is a small audience that likes fun wrestling, like an indie crowd a lot of times. And then they come up, and it doesn't, Alpha Academy, or what was Alpha? What was
American Alpha?
American Alpha. The gimmick. If they created that gimmick of American Alpha in WWE when they came up and said, "Oh, here's the serious one, and here's the one with the funny towel," and then he's fine, then they would have been successful. But a lot of times they come up with the gimmick. That's just a theory I have.
Interesting. Well, what interesting how that'll bode for Chase U and Tony D when they get that call up.
Yeah, those will be their names for like another week. Yeah, it's not.
I don't want to live in a world where Tony D'Angelo isn't Tony D'Angelo anymore.
Yeah.
Although it is interesting to think about now, like because on the main roster, there could be challenges.
Does that play culturally? You know what I'm saying? You can't have guys like eating on a red and white checkered freaking tablecloth at the side of a like at the side of a ring going, hey, bada boom, bada. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Well, you mentioned that. I mean, Enzo and Cass, that translated pretty well.
Have you met the guys? Have you met those guys? That's who they are.
Yeah,
they are those guys.
We've met both. Yeah,
they literally talk like that. They both talk like that. Enzo, they say like you dial up to like 11 in real life. Enzo's like his real life character like at 8. You know what I'm saying? Like he dials it back for TV.
Yeah, that's true. One Santos had a good day today, and that was Santos Escobar, who beat up Joaquin Wilde tonight. Joaquin did an admirable job.
Poor Joaquin. Poor Joaquin. I know. What? First of all, nicest guy on the planet. Been watching him wrestle for I think 50 years, and I think he's 26. So I'm not sure how that works with DJ Zima Ion, right? That was him in TNA Impact. And, and of course, what we've all heard, it makes sense. They're going to bring Humberto and Garza up to wrestle with his former tag team partner and former friend, Santos. And that makes sense. They're going to look great together, and they all are going to, it's a good faction. I like it already. But, the poor other guys and, with Joaquin,
Legado del
Fantasma, like, they're just like, you just feel them getting cast to the side. So I saw Joaquin really try to go for it tonight because I hope he has more opportunities. Also, Dragon Lee, this is going to be a hot take here. Awesome.
Oh, he's great.
He's awesome.
I was actually really shocked he won. That shocked me at Survivor Series. The Dragon Lee.
They seem to know what they have with him. They seem to know. Like it's like very rarely does the wrestling audience and the WWE agree on anything. They're like, dude, Dragon Lee's the man. They're like, no, we're taking his mask off and he's now a cat or whatever, right? But like, they know what they have with him. He's just. First of all, the name Dragon Lee is just genius.
Good.
It's just the best name. When I first saw him wrestle for New Japan, I turned to Matthew and I was obsessed with that name. I'm like, Dragon Lee. He's a luchador? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that's pretty damn clever. It's pretty damn clever, Dragon Lee, Plus he's a jacked luchador, which you don't normally see either,
So the question is though, when Humberto and Angel come up, will they still be werewolves like they are in NXT?
Dude, those two guys have gotten the worst gimmicks and the worst, like, just awful, I remember, like, with Garza, he started this Lothario gimmick,
Yeah.
And guys, we saw him propose to his wife on NXT TV, like, 6 months before that. Like, what are you doing with this? But they're both really good. Garza's really, really good. Carrillo seems a little younger, and, Garza's, like, ready-made. He could be in the Santos role easily. He's great.
Yeah. Well, I think given the heat with Tony D, I think they're gonna, end up like Pretty Deadly, sleeping with the fishes, and then they'll be reborn on SmackDown.
Is that what they're doing over at NXT? Are they killing people and then they just show up?
Well, that's what happened. Yeah, Tony D and Stax had this whole thing about Pretty Deadly sleeps with the fishes. Like they made it seem like they legit murdered them, and then they ended up showing up on SmackDown a week later.
That is the best thing ever. That's how they should do it. Like if you get killed on NXT, if you die, you go to WWE. It's great.
No, absolutely.
It's fantastic. That's heaven, because it's heaven. Because, working 20 hours having everybody watch what you eat is not as cool as going to WWE. You know what I'm
saying? Majestic Marie, $5 super chat saying, hi, Glenn and Matt, much love. Isn't it crazy that a year ago there weren't many main event guys in WWE, but now there are several you could see be champ? That is crazy.
That's a great observation, by the way. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. The thing is, I noticed it a while ago when Hunter took over the first time, is everybody is a bigger star now. He knows, even like when Matt Riddle or whatever, everybody became a bigger star under the Hunter realm. He knew how to do it. So yeah, there's a couple guys in there, CM Punk, who wasn't there before or whatever. But Seth Rollins is just a bigger star. Drew McIntyre is a credible big star. Cody Rhodes, oh my God, right? And they have, even what we said Lashley earlier, Brock, we have Roman Reigns, we have all these guys. I don't know if I said Drew, but of course Drew. You can even credibly put Sheamus in there if Sheamus came back. They have so many credible guys, and it's because of their presentation and the way that they've booked these. Oh my God. Jey Uso. Who the hell saw that coming? Jey Uso's a top guy.
Yeah.
He's a top guy. He was a twin like 4 years ago. Like that's who we knew him as. He's like, but WWE deserves all the credit. And that's what I'm saying about Mercedes in a lot of ways. WWE knows how to make stars. Everybody can say, Cody didn't cut it in AEW. Bro, they had that same guy. That's the same guy. That's the same exact dude. I kind of know the guy. That's him. Like they had him.
Yeah.
And they just put him in the same outfit, by the way. And then, you know what I'm saying? And now he's Superman. They know how to make stars, and everybody has benefited from Hunter in just as much as they didn't benefit from him when they used to wrestle him.
I mean, it's interesting because now you got me thinking about this with Cody, and I promise I'll try and contain this segue or this tangent a little bit, which is that with Cody, I think it was a mistake. I get what he was doing in trying to elevate MJF, but when they had MJF like slingshot out of that and costing Cody to where Cody could never challenge for the title again, and then MJF turned and came out of it like a white hot star, it did make Cody, like they set his ceiling, right? And then from there, yes, he had some high points, but come on, like Too Fast, Too Fuego, like they were doing stuff with Cody that diminished his value in AEW.
AEW as a company, is its job is to make money.
Yeah.
And in its job to make money, there are people who make decisions about what makes money and what doesn't make money. Cody Rhodes or any wrestler there can make any suggestion they want, but the brunt of the responsibility lies with those people who make those decisions. Was Cody presented in a bad way in AEW? Yeah, probably. Were there mistakes made? Did Cody maybe suggest a couple of those things? Probably. They were not good ideas. And we can see that now, that all you had to do is present him like damn Superman and it would work, and they did it, and they should have done it after All In. That should have been when they had the press conference January 1st. After that, they should have just, and Cody, it's Cody. And that would have been the move, but it's again, people blame the audience. It's never the audience's fault. I totally believe it's never the audience's fault. But look at that, back onto your question. These guys are bigger stars now than they were a year ago, but it's a lot of the same dudes. So look at Sami Zayn. He could be there too. It's crazy. There's so many.
I still think he should have won in Montreal.
They all should have won in Montreal.
I know. Sorry, just one last thing. I remember backstage that Starrcast of Double or Nothing and the following All In, that everyone that was chattering was like, yeah, AEW really thinks, Hangman, top baby face of the company, top guy. And it was just like, it was weird that Cody allowed himself, and people are saying in the chat, yeah, he had a lot to do with his own booking, but that's the thing. It's like, they didn't see that he could be. I mean, Cody's going to break Roman's streak at WrestleMania. He's going to dethrone Roman and end this championship. And AEW saw him as a top supporting guy.
Cody was utterly selfless in that role with AEW.
Absolutely.
And a lot of talk that there was almost an immediate, kind of distancing of the elite and Cody, and you could see it in their universes. You could see it in their private or their separate YouTube accounts.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what influence Cody had. I do know that he took personal stock in MJF. I talked to him, Starrcast 2, Vegas. So that's MJF's first real appearance where that's MJF's first real appearance where he really is making a name for himself under Cody. And I was talking to Cody and I'm like, I said something similar to what I said earlier. I said, man, he has really stepped up to that opportunity. I go, it's really great. He gets this opportunity to get out there and talk and talk with you, and he's really stepping it up. And Cody's like, yeah, well, he better. It's on me. You
Yeah.
know, like, so
Yeah.
all this TV time to this kid, Cody is the dude, you know, Cody is
Yeah.
the guy. And right now that guy is going through tables every single damn night on a house show loop. Every
Mhm.
night, 5 days a week, he goes through a table.
Yeah.
And he stays an hour afterwards to sign autographs with everybody. When I was there, I saw him. I was front row. Sorry, that's my life. But and then there's a crush of fans. This little boy was crying. Cody picks up the boy and comforts him, and
Yeah.
he stops crying. I posted a picture of it. It's just, he's the guy. He should have won. Okay, he didn't win. He didn't win. But he needs to win this time. Give this guy
No,
the
I know.
chance.
I know it'll be crazy if he doesn't. But you know who's not MJF is Logan Paul, because Logan Paul, who is like, I hate what a good wrestler he is. He's great at trading barbs with people and going toe to toe on the mic. But tonight we had the U.S. champion giving this solo promo that was everything Logan Paul has not been previously. This was something.
Yeah, Logan Paul is better when he plays off other people. You know, like, he just was destroying that poor fella that he fought with last time. Every time they got a chance to talk, you know, putting him in a ring by himself to do he just hasn't done that a lot, you know?
Yeah.
He's also still not bad at it, you know? And just the fact he just rolls with it, like he's like you know, like if you take an improv class, they say it's yes and, you know?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I chose these guys. Let me tell you why I chose those guys, you know? And because, you know, since when does that happen? But it seems like he just kind of made up that answer. And I think we all be forgiven because he's not a bad promo, and we all look forward to his matches. So good for
Love
him.
his matches.
Good for wrestling. You know, the dude is like really, really good for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well,
Life's
I was glad he
unfair.
got. Yeah, I was glad he got interrupted tonight though, because it was better having Grayson, Austin, Kevin Owens. It just like he needs a sparring partner. I think when he was just out there alone, it was you know, the stuff about his junk, like all of that is yelling, is like the audience was not with him in a way that they normally kind of are. It was different tonight, the energy.
Find a way to put Kevin Owens and him on screen together, like
Yeah.
maybe as like, you know, unwilling partners or something over a sequence of a few weeks. Find a way to get them together because they're going to raise each other's game. Kevin Owens cannot really be out-talked. Like he's quick and he's witty and he's smart. And Logan Paul's the same way, and they're going to raise each other's game, but match will be fine. But I think get them on TV talking together because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like lots of segments, tons of segments with those guys.
Well, so we announced this tournament. Who's going to be the new number one contender for the U.S. title? We're going to have Santos, Dragon Lee, Karrion Kross. Haven't seen him in a while.
Welcome back, Killer Cross.
Bobby Lashley, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, Kevin Owens, and an unknown superstar for NXT. People speculating it's Carmelo because I think Carmelo was backstage tonight, wasn't he?
I did not hear that. It wouldn't surprise me because I know it's not going to be Braun Breaker. You know, like
yeah,
no
that'd be
offense-
good though.
No offense to Carmelo, but whoever's coming up is not someone that they need to protect their wins for. You know, and so they're not going to have him come up, Braun. And I don't know if I'm as big on Braun as everybody else is, but he's fine. But you know, I think they if they're going to bring him up, he's going to win. Like he's going to beat all those guys, and that's not what's happening. Kevin Owens is stunning like 6 other people, and he's going to win.
Yeah, Braun was hotter a year ago. He feels like a 5th year, 6th year senior now, just hanging around NXT, waiting to graduate.
And he's got the skin of one too, so that works out. It's no good.
Very leathery man. Bigfoot Sneakerhead. Yes, Bigfoot Sneakerhead, $9.99. They need to take the belt off Seth. CM Punk doesn't need the title. Let Priest win the title and then have LA Knight win the Royal Rumble. Damian Priest versus LA Knight. Cody win their Elimination Chamber match and go after Roman.
I hate none of that except LA Knight winning the Royal Rumble. But I will say Seth has been great for this title because this title is stupid. This title has no purpose. It is obviously a secondary title, but bit by bit by bit by bit, Seth is adding credibility to this title against
Oh,
my
yeah.
will, against my wishes, and against what I want. I want this to be, I want to say that's a BS title. So if Cody goes for it, I'll say it will. But him holding it so long is a good thing and is going to make it mean more when Priest wins it. You know, and hopefully Priest wins it from him. Maybe not anytime soon, but at some point, you know, like, but if he did it earlier, that title would mean less because Priest is kind of an unproven guy right now. But as far on the main event level, but Seth was the best choice for that stupid title.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought Cody was a shoe, and I thought that was his consolation gold after losing to Roman and Mania. And I've been surprised otherwise, you know?
Dude, Cody Rhodes, the human being, literally wants that other belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why he's in WWE, besides other things. But him going back to WWE is about that belt. That is the lineage from the belt that his dad didn't win in the 70s. The belt that he owns. Cody Rhodes owns that belt. That is why he's there. I guarantee Cody never put his foot down to anything. He's down for anything. But I bet if they put that Seth belt to him, he probably said no.
Yeah. No, and that would make sense.
He's probably all or nothing.
Well, Kevin Owens took on Grayson Waller tonight with Austin Theory ringside and Logan Paul on commentary.
What do you think about that match, Glenn? I'm doing a lot of talking.
It was good. I feel like, the problem is, though, you put the same guys in these segments. Now, you could put Kevin and Austin and Grayson and have them have these interactions, and you do that like a week or two, and you go, oh, hey, you want to see the match. But you do it for too long, and the match happens, and you feel like, haven't we already seen this match? Because some of the, all the chemistry, all the moments, the surprises, the interactions, like, I don't know. It was what it was. I mean, Kevin winning, not a surprise by any stretch of the imagination. To your point, like, I think Kevin versus Logan, that sounds like a pretty darn good United States title match. And I don't know if Logan's dropping this anytime soon, but depending on when that championship match is, I mean, I could be here for that. That could be pretty exciting.
If I was WWE, I'd have him hold that title forever until he got a bigger title, But
that's the problem, though, right now, Matt. That's the problem. Roman's holding it. Seth's holding it. Gunther's holding it. Logan's holding it. So congratulations, you got the tag titles.
That's a pretty credible group of champions, if you think about it. Like, again, with Kevin Owens, he's a bigger star than he was a year ago. He's a bigger star than he was 2 years ago. I mean, look at the little decisions. I mean, someone should study it. All the little decisions that have been made to have Kevin Owens be where he is now, and seen versus 2 years ago, he wasn't in a bad position, but he's on a bedrock of fan belief and fan support now. That's insane. As far as Grayson Waller and Austin Theory go, I think they will be tag team champions one day because they won't be able to resist putting those belts on them one day.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But I think combined, they're like a perfect wrestler. You know what I'm saying? The two of them together. Like, they're both like a 44 and a half on like WWE 2K. You know what I'm saying? And you put them together, they're at 99. That was 49 and a half. I'm sorry. They're at 99 because Grayson Waller's got some great stuff about him. Austin Theory's got some great stuff about him. But there's something just really missing there with both of them right now. I think it's learnable, though.
Well, I'll tell you, with KO, just think about like 4 years ago, he was hiding in a porta potty from Braun Strowman. So he's definitely,
I covered that show with Wade Keller, man. And that was like Wade is like, he likes to find meaning and stuff. And I was at that point just been like, dude, I don't even know. WWE's stupid. I can't. That was a low point. Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah, they were scripting him backstage like he was Kevin James or something. And just like, look at this, lovable everyman who gets in these goofy situations.
He had the blue stuff all over him and like, oh my
it was
God.
Bad. It was really bad.
What year was that? 2019? It had to be before 2018?
Yeah, it was like 18 or 19 maybe. That was some dark times.
It is so much better now. It is so much better now. And Triple H is really good at this.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's like seeing him get this win, seeing this momentum, putting him in a segment with Logan is great because if he's in that championship, this is the great thing is that Logan, because he is truly a multimedia superstar in every sense of the word, like his opponent's gonna get massively elevated by this.
Right. It's a gift, you know?
Yeah.
And one thing about current day WWE is like, you look at this group of guys and girls. Now you say girls, it sounds like men and women.
Yeah.
You look at this group of men and women, and it's like, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Hold on a second.
No, it's impressive.
I lost it. I'm sorry. I had a really cogent point to make, and I remember it being really good, but then it's gone right now. It's gone. But I was just saying with Triple H, he made every single person there better than they were when it wasn't him.
Yeah, no, you can really tell the product has been good. I mean, tonight wasn't even what I would call a phenomenal like A+ SmackDown. It was a serviceable show, but even a serviceable show, like it moved fast. It was funny watching Raw again Monday because I've been taking a break since I haven't been covering it, but watching it for CM Punk's return promo. And it's like Raw, even when they were trying to put on something for maybe some lapsed viewers and do a little bit more variety than usual, it's like 3 hours is always going to work against you. With SmackDown, they make 2 hours fly by. It's not NXT is still my favorite because it's 20 segments in 2 hours. It's a true variety show in terms of just throwing different things at you. But this moved really fast tonight, and it was good. And I think Kevin Owens getting this win to advance. Like this tournament's going to be fun.
I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say. All these guys and all these female wrestlers, they're all in the right spots. Like when I watch it, I'm not saying that, oh my God, why is so-and-so in this position? Or, oh, why isn't so-and-so in this position? They are all in the right spots, and all the fans appreciate where these wrestlers are. Like, we're like, oh yeah, it is time for this to happen. Oh yeah, there's nobody being wasted, and there's nobody being elevated that we're not really into.
Well, we had after that Bianca Belair with Charlotte Flair and Shotzi versus Kairi Sane with Damage Control. This was Kairi's first match on WWE TV, first singles match in quite a while.
Huh? Really?
I believe so.
When was the last one?
Well, because she hasn't wrestled since her return, right? So it was probably when she was with the company last.
Wow. What did you think of the match?
Thought it was good. Thought it had a good momentum behind it. The problem is, though, you kind of knew Bayley was going to show up and create chaos at some point. So they telegraph that a little too much sometimes, right? You kind of know, hey, this isn't just going to be a clean one-on-one match. But that being said, I think that Bianca getting a win was good. Although, see, I always have an issue when a wrestler comes back and doesn't. I feel, call me sentimental, but I feel like if you're doing a return, like you should get a win. Just on principle, you should get the win because you want to establish yourself as someone to be taken seriously and a potential threat. And I know they're high on Bianca, but you could have had a DQ. You could have done a lot of different things to just have Kairi to really sell what a great competitor she is. I don't think she looks bad by losing, but I think she would have looked better by winning.
It is weird, right? It is weird that you didn't go with a different member of Damage Control, and then you just, had Kairi like just beat somebody senseless today. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have worked. But again, Bianca is going to be kept strong. Bianca is strong. Bianca should be the face of the division. The Bayley drama is great. I hope it leads. Well, we know it's leading to Bayley going back to being cheered one day. I think she's so great in that role. They really missed the boat with her, I think, when she was in that role. She could have been a big breakout star for them. But now people are going to have the goodwill cheers. So I'm interested to see this whole thing. And then when she gets beaten down by Damage Control and Becky or Sasha, oh my God, makes the save. Oh, it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, she did lose to Charlotte before. So great. So this is 2. Like that's even... Think about this. Triple H is like, hey, we want you back. We know things didn't work out before. This is an opportunity. Oh, good. So I'm coming. I'm going to win my match. No, you're losing. Next week, so I'm going to go. No, you're losing again. We're really glad you're back with the company.
How important, though? I mean, you've met wrestlers. How important are these wins and losses? I guess they get annoyed by them, I think, I don't think it's so much of a deal breaker unless you're like, John Moxley or,
I know.
or John Cena.
I think, though, because Kairi definitely has a fan base, but I think that you want to build people, right? And if you want to build people, sometimes wins or something where they look more vicious, even if it's a DQ, just something that really makes them look like a formidable opponent is important. But that being said, I think that it's also tough because I get like when CM Punk came back Monday, I don't like typically it's weird to have a show where you're the quote unquote main event, but then there's a big promo on after you. It's like
It's always awkward.
Yeah, you're the support act. You're not the headliner.
Like if you were if it was really a headline match, the promo
Yeah.
would be, ahead of you.
Yeah. And we kind of knew, I mean, I thought I knew what was happening with Randy Orton. I mean, Nick Aldis being there, Adam Pearce being there. Oh, is he going to go to SmackDown or Raw? I was like, he's either going to be a free agent or he's going to SmackDown. Like, you don't do like, it's kind of like a contract. I mean, it was a contract signing, but it's just a lot of these things are very predictable. And it's wrestling, but I think wrestling, for being such a predictable medium, is often best when it surprises you. And I just feel like that last segment didn't really surprise me.
And like, this is very much a Vince thing, Who cares? Like, who cares where he signs? Nobody cares. Like, it's not like there's not SmackDown homers that are like, hey, or like, Raw loyal people. They're like, I'm not watching SmackDown. That's not a thing. Like, this is a manufactured. This doesn't help. I mean, it was the way to get Randy involved with the Bloodline, right? But this isn't really, they should have been like, coming up last, a segment with Paul Heyman and Randy Orton. That would have been just as good.
Yeah, or Randy Orton, I don't know. If he would have, and I know he did a little bit of this Monday, but I think that he could have literally addressed the Bloodline, or I don't know. They could have built up, because that's what this was really about, right? And he called his shot Monday when he said that he still has unfinished business with the Bloodline. They took him out. He was out for 18 months. So having this segment at the end,
I would have just said nothing about Randy Orton tonight, and we just had him like RKO Jimmy out of nowhere in the middle of a Bloodline segment. That would have just been huge.
Yeah, I would like an RKO truly out of nowhere.
That'd be something, like to materialize.
Yeah, just like he transports in.
Yeah.
Something. So he came out, Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce. They both given him contracts. Paul Heyman came out. Please don't sign with SmackDown. Go to Raw. And then the Solo and Jimmy attack, as the Bloodline often does. Randy takes them both out, signs the contract, drops it on Jimmy Uso. I love how Paul Heyman, he doesn't dial, because he shows not tells, or tells rather than shows. We say telling Siri, call Roman Reigns.
Without the crowd noise doesn't even mess it up. It's great.
I know. But it was a predictable ending. But then he gave Nick Aldis, his new GM, an RKO out of nowhere.
The most fun game to play while you're watching SmackDown is when Paul Heyman's out there, and watch how good he is at getting on camera. He always just will float over to that camera with the red light on. And so I was thinking about it when he was talking to Roman Reigns, and like he almost paused when he saw the red light went off, and like the camera came off him and went back. But it's always fun when you watch a match, you'll always see Paul Heyman knows exactly where to place his face, so he's always on camera.
Yes.
But to the point of the segment, it was like, it's December WWE, which is usually they just mail it in. And tonight was, they did fine. But this segment, I'm interested in a Randy Orton Roman Reigns match at Royal Rumble. Randy might tear his arms off and beat him about the head with them. Like he's huge. But I think it was a good idea. I think it was well executed. And I think it was a decent SmackDown to have after the big CM Punk moment.
Speaking of camera awareness, Paul Heyman always knows where to amp it up or dial it down on the Lou Costello scared factor, and start doing the eyes.
That is Lou Costello, isn't it? That is Lou Costello. Yeah, like when like the mummy comes around the corner, man, that's the way Lou looks. Plays this tie. Yeah. We're talking about Abbott Costello people. Sorry, this is we're not that old, shit. But apparently we were. That is some boomer stuff,
Yeah, everybody in the greatest generation, or the silent generation, listening tonight, really appreciating popping for that.
Come next week when we'll talk about Singing in the Rain. That'd be great.
In a spirited rendition of Who's on First. So yeah, this was good tonight. We got to build to the Royal Rumble. Look, so a couple things. One, Tribute to the Troops next week is going to be during SmackDown. I can't remember the last time they did that.
That's fun because Tribute to the Troops isn't usually, while it is a great cause, the best cause possible. That being said, it is not usually a great show.
Well, it's not a kayfabe show. It's just like a house show for a great cause and a great audience. So this will be interesting to see how they do that.
They'll tribute the troops. They'll get a bunch of troops in there for free. They'll donate a bunch of money to some troops. Win-win for everybody. Have some good wrestling for the rest of us.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do that. But CM Punk will be on SmackDown. And again, I've been saying this because I've done like a dozen podcasts this week. The smartest thing that is probably worth every penny, as the rights are up for renegotiation, which, by the way, word has it we're going to have news soon about where WWE is taking Raw. But this is normally the slowest time of the year where nothing happens in wrestling. It's a nice little reset and chance to catch your breath before January, the build to the Rumble, the road to WrestleMania. And with CM Punk back, everybody is talking about WWE right now.
And the ratings reflect as well. What do you think? Do you think, like, the rumor kind of came out of nowhere about Warner Brothers Discovery being interested in WWE?
Yeah.
I believe that would be false. That would be my
full
guess.
Because all we've heard for the entirety of AEW's run on TBS and TNT, all we have heard is how happy they are.
You telling me? You're telling me, like, first of all, the source that came from isn't like a real source. People just ran with it. But now people are like, it's possible. You're telling me that they give this man, Tony Khan, 5 hours of primetime TV every week, and they're going to put WWE on the television too? Like, how much wrestling are we going to have on and also, like you said, it's been a very beneficial relationship for some reason, that for some reason Warner Brothers Discovery were very into the idea of them doing monthly pay-per-views. Why would that be? Why would they care? And then also this relationship, I think, the question that Dave Meltzer asked Tony Khan is that Warner Brothers Discovery a minority owner in AEW? Tony Khan did not say no. He said a lot of things. And he said, I maintain the 100% voting interest. Well, that's kind of a yeah. So my guess is that Warner Brothers Discovery owns a chunk of AEW, and there's no way in hell WWE is going there.
I mean, I think FX is a very interesting possibility.
I think so. What, USA just don't want them no more? What's up? There's no love.
Well, no, USA wants SmackDown. They spent all their money on SmackDown. So WWE wanted a big rights increase fee. I don't even know what USA does on Friday nights. I don't know if it's going to be Friday nights, but USA decided they want SmackDown, which is interesting. They would let Raw go, given that that's been there for so long, but they let NXT go to the CW.
Have they considered a little place called the Honor Club? Because I understand that needs some programming bad.
I mean, it's such a unpredictable time right now in professional wrestling, and I think that I also wouldn't rule out someone like Amazon Prime Video just going for it.
I like Amazon Prime's Video of doing this because they love to pay outlandish money for stuff they have no business doing. They have money to burn. Bro, I gave Amazon so much money this week. I don't even know what's in these boxes. I don't even know.
It's kind of nice though, because when it shows up, it's kind of like a present for yourself.
Like during the quarantine, I would just have boxes, and I had no idea. I'm like, you know what I just realized? This moment that is out in a box out there, an air fryer. Why do I have an air fryer? Freaking Black Friday.
Now, is it convection oven or is it one of the tray air fryers, like with the little?
I think it's a convection oven.
Oh, convection. See, I prefer the convection oven because that way, here's the thing: have you air fried much before in your life?
No.
You're gonna learn it doesn't do a great job. It heats from the outside in, which is why you get that nice crisp outside, but doesn't normally stuff heats from the inside out. It kind of gives the heat. So what I like to do is I like to bake it first and then finish it with a little air frying for that crispy outside.
That sounds like a lot of work. What item are we talking about? We do like that.
I will do that with taquitos. I will do that with well, I'm vegan, so I'll do the vegan chicken tenders. I'll do that French fries, onion rings, because I want to make sure they're cooked all the way through. It's a little bit more art than science sometimes, though. You got to really get to know your air fryer.
Dude, that is a lot of work for a vegan chicken tender. Like,
yeah, but I like to do the hot ones experience at home and just like line them up and do all the sauces, and it's quite festive. But Prime would be interesting. And let me posit this question: if they're on Prime,
dude, Homelander crossover, crossover, boom,
great for Cody.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that there's a good chance Raw won't have commercials? Not or WWE. I don't know. Maybe it'd be commercial free. Maybe they would sell sponsorships. But I mean, on Peacock they sell sponsorships. But man,
I was gonna say, man, we watching commercials everywhere now.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We're watching commercials everywhere now. And like Peacock has commercials. What the hell?
I know.
It's not really the way it's supposed to go. I would guess they would find a way to put a commercial in there somewhere, and
yeah, we just need a chance to breathe.
I do not want to watch 3. Maybe they can make it 2 hours if Amazon gets it.
Yeah, 2-hour Raw. Just
because that is the one place where like the 2 hours and 3 hours makes less of a difference, I guess, than if it was like filling up spots on a TV. And we all know the 3 hours is death, but yes, there's more rights fees associated with 3 hours. So we're going to have 3 hours forever. But maybe with Amazon, we just have 2.
What I want, though, is that Amazon also signs a deal with WWE Studios because we need the Marine 7.
Well, that's where usually they have their movie releases at. Is Amazon.
It's been a while since we had WWE. Well, they've done some through Netflix lately. The one with the kid in the luchador mask that was basically like Mike.
Yeah. I watched that for 4.5 seconds.
Yeah. I think I actually watched the entire thing because I said to my wife, I'm like, it's like Mike. And then she said, what are you talking about? I'm like, the kid finds the shoes and he plays like Michael Jordan. Classic.
Someone said to me once, you don't have to like everything that has wrestling in it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a case of no, not for me. No.
Yeah, I think most people tapped out at what was the Chaperone? That was probably where most people got off WWE Studios bandwagon.
Didn't watch that one either. I generally think anything made by WWE that's a movie is not going to be good, and I'm not watching.
The Jetsons WrestleMania one, where they go back in time, and at some point they sneak backstage at WWE, and there's an image with Elroy dressed as Roman Reigns and Judy Jetson dressed as Becky Lynch. Like that was the high point of that movie, but it wasn't terrible.
Wow. You're a grown man, and
I got a lot of time. I got no kids and 5 cats, Matt. I got time.
I was going to say, man, you don't have kids, but you know about all that Jetson movie. The Jetsons were even cool, like when they were, like when it was hitting. But I always wondered, though, question. I know you like to talk about pop culture so much.
Sure.
Yeah. So the Jetsons, right? They're like up in the sky. Down below, what's going on there? Like, I think it's just like Mad Max down there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking desolate. It's desolate, and it's like war zone. Like, one more time, Elroy, and you're going down there.
Matt, I think you got your pitch. I think you got your pitch for your Gritty Jetsons reboot, where it's like Elysium. Yeah. It's Elysium.
I guarantee you it is dark down there, son. Like, you ain't made for that life down there, Spacely. Like, it ain't going to happen for you. It is bad down there. I know that much. I don't know what's going on down there. But below, because they're like tubes, right? That spread out. Hard to climb, right? Hard to traverse. You can't. The natives, the terrible, people with the spears and the feathers in their noses, they can't make it up the thing. It's dark down there. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's going to be like Elysium. Matt Damon's going to get the implants and fly the ship into Cloud City and murder the Jetsons for their healing pod.
It's like Escape from New York. That's exactly what it's like down there. If you've seen that, Ox Baker's down there doing shoot fights. It's great.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, Matt. This was great tonight. You can find Matt online at Matt Koon Music. And you're not podcasting currently.
Not podcasting currently. I might have something coming up soon. But I do have some music coming out. So
Nice.
make sure to follow it, Twitter at Matt Koon Music, to see if the music teacher sucks at music. That would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, maybe I do. I don't know. But I got 3 songs from the heart: Fearless, Honest Music, and they're coming out in December. But otherwise, I'll be on Wrestling Inc. like Monday on the Raw show, and I think maybe even Wednesday on the Dynamite show, and then next Friday with you, I think, on SmackDown.
Cool. Well, and Issa, we hope you get better soon. And she's battling a cold.
You got to pretty this place up, girl. You got to pretty this place up because it is. Look at our facial hair. We have combined the worst facial hair in the world. Like mine's worse than yours, but you're not exactly like, you know.
Well, it's a work in progress, and when it comes
like Brian Pillman Jr. over there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I got to get that Lexus King lines cut in. It's like a Snapchat filter. It's amazing. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.